I'm still with Talk's international editor, Isabel Oakeshott. Isabel, this is one of those be kind stories that makes me want to be very unkind on a general basis. Really infuriating. It's mad. Back in 2021, we're talking about a 34-year-old Sri Lankan sex offender. Now, a large boat of Tamils fled Sri Lanka. There is a bit of war and torture going on there. And they arrived in the not so far away Chagos Islands. We'll talk about Chagos Islands in a different context in just a little while. But they arrived at the Chagos Islands, the big main island of Diego Garcia. They all apply for asylum in Britain. 61 of them get accepted. This guy doesn't get accepted, and I'll tell you why. Because when he arrived in Diego Garcia, he went round terrorising the local female population and sexually assaulted several of them. As a result, he went to jail for 6 months. And then applied still for asylum in Britain. Now, for once in our lives, we were quite sensible and said, no, we really don't want a foreign sex offender coming to live here. With the greatest lack of respect, that's a no. This guy then tries to commit suicide, does himself some kind of damage, clearly. And then we, British taxpayers, then, after he hurt himself in his suicide attempt, we paid £100,000 to fly him to the Middle East for emergency medical treatment, where he was saved. Then we paid a load more money to fly him back to the Chagos Islands, where he continues to reside, still trying to come here, but our diplomats and British lawyers are desperately trying to find him a third country, because we don't want him. The Chagos Islands don't want him. Sri Lanka no longer wants him, so we're trying to find him somewhere else. Why? Why? Why did we pay for him to go to the Middle East? Why are we trying to find him another country to go to? What's he got to do with us? Do we now accept that if somebody just says, I want to live in Britain, that he becomes our entire responsibility? That seems to be what's happened here.
This is a most extraordinary story, and in my opinion, this individual should simply have been taken back to Sri Lanka. He's lost any right whatsoever to claim asylum in any British territory, having committed all these crimes. He isn't our problem. We shouldn't be having to pay for him. And I think at this point, a serious inquiry is needed. It shouldn't take very long. It'll only take a couple of hours at the most to establish what happened as to who authorised these private jet flights. Which person, at what level was this signed off? Because I don't think this would have been a junior decision maker to have a private jet take somebody from Diego Garcia to the Middle East because they've had some suicide attempt. They're not a British citizen. Frankly, I'm not sure any normal British citizen would get this level of luxury.
You're right, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it beggars belief, doesn't it? So this surely was signed off at the highest level, in which case we need to know who signed it off. Was it a junior minister? If so, which department? Was it a Foreign Office official that signed this off, or was it a junior Foreign Office minister, or was it the Home Office? Yeah. What was the justification? And frankly, whoever signed that off should be sacked, because once again, it was a flagrant abuse of taxpayers' money. How long is it going to take before this government, and also, by the way, our judges, realise that Great Britain is not a charity? We are not Médecins Sans Frontières. We are the UK PLC, and our shareholders are the British people. And we should stop behaving like a charity, and we should stop expecting the people of the UK to give unlimited donations to terrible causes.
Yeah. Let me ask the audience, what do you think, folks? I mean, why on earth did we pay £100,000 for this guy to go on a private jet to the Middle East for top quality medical treatment? Then we flew him back to the Chagos Islands, where, as far as I understand it, he might still be in jail because he's a sex offender. Normally, I might say about such a guy, oh, I feel sorry for him, but he's not our responsibility. I stick to the second part of my statement. He's not our responsibility, never was, in my view. But do I feel sorry for him? No, I don't tend to feel sorry for sex attackers. So that brings it onto a whole new level. But not only is this guy not our responsibility, he's a convicted, jailed sex offender. And we take it upon ourselves to make him our responsibility purely because he said, I want to live in Britain. I mean, that is insane. That's absolutely insane and frankly cavalier with taxpayers' money at a time when we're all hurting badly. We're going to talk about that in a little while, but you know, the awful April, all the prices are rising, council taxes, everything is going up. Water bills. We're all struggling, and officials from our government, you know, are playing fast and loose with our money because they read The Guardian and they want to be kind. It's got to stop. I agree with you. Let me know what you think, folks. 03444991000. Still with the Chagos Islands. Donald Trump. Well, what do you make of this? Donald Trump has signed off on the proposed deal for Britain to give Mauritius the Chagos Islands, including that strategic airport on the island we were just discussing, the main island of the archipelago, Diego Garcia. So people like you and me have been very much against this. A lot of sensible people have been against this. It's a very strategic set of islands in the middle of the South Seas, from where American and British jets monitor the world. They check on Afghanistan, on the Middle East, the Far East. It's very strategic. And Donald Trump has now signed off on what I think was always a crazy plan by Keir and his lawyer mates to give these islands to Mauritius, 1,300 miles away. Mauritius has never ruled them, never had sovereign control over these islands. When we first said, you want the Chagos Islands, apparently the Mauritians went, why? But then we sweetened the pill by offering them, I think, if I remember rightly, something like £9 billion over the next 20 years. So we're going to give them a load of money in order to give them the Chagos Islands, these strategic islands. We will retain the right to rent Diego Garcia, I think, for 90 years or so. But we should bear in mind that the best friend of Mauritius is China. So all in all, I'm surprised that Donald Trump has given this ludicrous deal his blessing.
Absolutely. It's really disappointing. I think a couple of things going on here. One, Donald Trump is very, very focused in terms of international affairs on trying to sort out the Ukraine-Russia conflict, and rightly so. That's very much his priority. And then there's also Israel, Gaza in the inbox. And then somewhere way, way, way down is this little local difficulty the Brits have with the Chagos Islands. I really thought that he would listen to his British friends on this one and not go along with it. But there may be a very pragmatic reason why the US president has gone for this, and that is because we're not actually asking the Americans to pay us anything for the use of Diego Garcia for their military base. I mean, we of course have some upside from that, from shared intelligence, but I mean, Donald Trump's probably looking at this thinking, well, this is a no-brainer. You know, I'm getting something for nothing. And if the Brits want to be completely stupid enough to give billions of pounds to Mauritius to give away their own territory, well, you know, let them knock themselves out.
Yeah, and I think there's you know, I'm a great admirer of Donald Trump, but there is that American thing, and I say this with great respect. I love the American people. I lived there for 10 years and all that, so don't get me wrong. But Americans, they do constitutionally have a bit of a problem worrying about places that are a long way away. And by that, I don't only mean the Chagos Islands, I mean Europe as well. So it may be that Donald Trump's basically going, the Chagos, what? Oh, let them have it, you know. But either way, looks like we've lost that battle. So we are going to be giving the Chagos Islands away to Mauritius. And when I say giving them away, giving them to Mauritius while also giving Mauritius billions of pounds. What a marvellous deal. What a marvellous deal. Still, in my view, totally baffling.